Hi there, this is Maths with Angela. So I'm going to do some solving of algebraic equations. As you can see here, we've got some questions in black, which you can have a go at, but I've done some examples underneath in red. So the thing you need to know about solving is you're trying to find the value of the letter. So the letter is a number which you're trying to find. The other thing you need to understand is how to do inverses in calculations. So if the letter is adding to something else, then the inverse of that is to take away to find the answer. If the number is multiplying with the letter, then the inverse of that is to divide, and also the other way. So the opposite of adding is taking away, opposite of taking away is adding, and the opposite of timesing is to divide, and the opposite of divide is to times. So keep that in mind. The other thing to see here with this one here is we've got 7f. So if there isn't there a symbol between 7 and f, it's telling you to multiply to find the answer. Now you may be able to just see this now, that 7 times a number gives me 49 by knowing the times tables, okay? But I want to teach you a way of doing this where you can use the inverse to always find the answer. So 7 times something gives me 49. So if I take my 49 and I do the inverse, in other words divide by the 7, which is next to my letter, it will tell me what the letter is. So I need to know my times tables. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. And we can check it because 7 times 7 is 49. That's our check. Okay then. Now, this question here, the 7t plus 3 equals 15, is a little bit more difficult to work out without a method, without an inverse. Okay, so I'm going to show you using a function machine to work this out. So if I knew what t was, what number it was, I'd do 4 times whatever number it is, plus the 3, and I would get 15 out. So I can write that as a function machine. So I start off with t. I'm then got my function box. I'm going to times it by 4. Okay. This is how you can practice finding the answer. In other words, putting different values of t in to get 15 out. Okay. But if you find that too difficult, you are just going to do the inverses going backwards, yeah, to find out what t is. So something, which is t, times 4 plus 3 gives me 15. So to work backwards, I'm going to do the opposite. So I've got 15. Instead of adding 3, I'm going to take away 3. And then instead of multiplying by 4, I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, so let's do it. So 15 take away 3 is 12, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3. So my t value is 3, and I can check it. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So my value of t is 3. Okay, so let's have a look at this one here. So this is a value of x plus 9 gives us 19. So I'm going to do this one here similarly. So a value of y, take away 10 gives me 35. So I can use my inverse, or maybe I can see it. So I've got my 25, and the inverse of taking away 10 is to add 10. So that's telling me y is 35. And again, I can bung it back in. 35 take away 10 is 25. So that works. Okay, this one here is similar to the first one we did up here. So 6 times x equals 15. Now, I know that 15 isn't in my 6 times table, so I'm going to end up with a decimal answer, or a fractional answer. So I'm going to use my inverse again. So I've got 15 divided by 6. Okay, so I'm going through my 6 times table. So I've got 6, and then I've got 12, and then I've got 18. Yeah. So there's different ways of writing this. You can write it as a fraction and cancel it down. So you can say how many 6's go into 15? Well, that's 2. with 3 left over out of 6, which is cancelling down to 2.5. Okay, so sometimes you end up with a fractional answer, okay, because it's not in the times table. Okay then, right, let's just do a couple more. One more. So here we have a fraction. So with a fraction, that is telling you that you are dividing. So this is saying x, doing my number machine, divided by 4 gives me 20. So I'm going to do the inverse to find out what x is. So the inverse of dividing by 20 is to times. Sorry, dividing by 4 is to times by 4. So I know that 20 times by 4 is 80. Okay, so let me check it. 80 divided by 4, yeah, it gives me 20. So my value for x here is 80. Yeah, because 80 divided by 4 is 20. I hope that was helpful. Now you can have a go at the questions. Bye.